$20 billion. That is what it costs to build one American aircraft carrier, 5,000 sailors, 70 combat aircraft, enough firepower to flatten a mid-sized country in an afternoon. It is the most powerful object any military has ever put on water. Nations built their entire defense strategies around the assumption that nothing on Earth can challenge it. Last week, Iran fired missiles at one, and the carrier did not fight. It turned around. The most lethal warship in human history received incoming fire from Iran and withdrew. Sailed the other direction, full speed. And every government on the planet watched it happen in real time. Here's what actually happened, and the details are worse than the summary. The carrier was not on a routine patrol. It was loaded, escorted by destroyers, covered by fighter aircraft, and moving deliberately toward the Persian Gulf to project overwhelming American force directly at Iran. Iran tagged it from 340 kilometers away. Missiles launched from Iranian territory reached the carrier's defensive perimeter, and the battle group made the decision to withdraw rather than hold position. But here's what military analysts are now concluding: Iran held back. The weapons fired were not Iran's most advanced systems, not the hypersonic missiles, weapons traveling at over 6,000 kilometers per hour that no existing naval defense system can reliably intercept. Iran used a calibrated, deliberate selection of its arsenal, enough to prove the carrier was within killing range, not enough to sink it. The message was not an attack, it was a demonstration. Here's the math that should terrify every defense planner in Washington. Every American interceptor missile fired from that carrier's escorts costs between $1 and $3 million. Every Iranian attack drone costs around $20,000 to manufacture. Iran has thousands of them. America is spending $100 to destroy every single dollar Iran spends on offense. This is not a temporary imbalance. This is the foundational economic equation of the entire conflict, and it favors Iran by a ratio that widens every single day the fighting continues. Now add the Strait of Hormuz. 20 million barrels of crude oil transit through it every single day. Saudi exports, Emirati, Kuwaiti, Iraqi, Qatari, everything. Insurance companies have already started repricing risk for every tanker operating anywhere near that strait. President Trump publicly stated he would decide who Iran's next supreme leader would be, as if regime change in a nation of 90 million people was an administrative task. Iran heard that, and when a country's leadership genuinely believes its existence is the target, every restraint calculation changes. Meanwhile, the domestic political landscape in America is fracturing. Public approval for this conflict has collapsed. Estimates range between 85 and 90% of Americans disapprove of how this situation has been handled. It requires a president to explain why a $20 billion aircraft carrier withdrew from a country America has been threatening for 4 decades. That admission is politically unbearable, so instead of stepping back, the instinct is to step forward. We'll be watching. Subscribe for updates.